looking up, even when I'm down. Got my head in the clouds and my feet on the ground. I got big dreams, gonna make them true. Keep pushing
Hello
forward,
and welcome
it's all I can
to month number 5, video number 1. This has been so fun doing this free coaching program, and I hope it's been beneficial to you. This month we're going to talk about proactive versus reactive. And in this first video, we're going to talk about how people respond. There are two kinds of people in the world, fundamentally, in terms of response. One type moves towards pleasure and reward. If you put the stick out there, or put the carrot on the stick out there, they're after it. The other type moves away from pain and punishment. Which kind are you? When I was in the corporate world, I ran a sales team, and two of my top salespeople, Nick and Pat, were completely different, but both profoundly productive. With Nick moved away from punishment. So if I needed him to up his numbers, open some new accounts or whatever, if I needed him to perform at a higher level, drill sergeant tactics worked beautifully. And it was really hard because that's not my nature, right? I tend to be more of a reward kind of guy. So with Nick, I'd call him in and I'd say, listen, man, you know, we got to get these numbers, and if we don't get them, you could lose your job. We're going to cut back on staff. Things are going to get really lean around here, and it's going to be really hard. If the CEO is pissed off, you know, everybody's life is miserable, and if you don't hit these numbers, we're in big trouble. And, you know, put the gun to his head. He was out there working so hard you can't even believe it. Now, Pat, his competitor, they were always number 1 and number 2. I'd bring Pat in and I'd go, listen, Pat, how would you like a nice night out, cocktails, steak dinner, and just a good night of fun on me? If you hit these numbers, that's what I'm going to do for you. And he was out beating the bush, going like a madman, and he always hit his numbers. This week, think about how you respond. Do you have a tendency to move away from pain and punishment or towards reward and pleasure? Most of the time, you'll find out how a person was raised and what their family was like in their formative years by how they respond to this question. Think about it this week and pay attention to those around you. Now, for me, I found that I had a tendency to avoid pain and punishment because that's how I was raised. There was a lot of threatening language and action in my household as a child. I prefer moving towards pleasure. I prefer to move towards reward. And I've had to retrain myself to respond in this way. If you'd like to shift the way that you respond and you would like to work on some of these fundamentals and how to keep an eye on people to learn how they respond so that you can motivate those around you in the most powerful way possible, get in touch with me, Toby at tobychristensen.com. Let's get together. A few hours in the Genius Lab can change everything. I look forward to hearing from you, and next week we're going to talk some more about being proactive versus reactive.
Oh yeah, we'll